All right, let's dive into Shakespeare's As You Like It. And this is a story that kicks off not with a party, but with pretty much everyone getting kicked out. It's a wild tale of family feuds, sudden banishments, and desperate escapes that literally forces all our main characters out of their homes and into the wilderness. So let's break down how all these tangled conflicts set the stage for everything to come. You know, this quote really hits the nail on the head. Before we can get to any of the famous romance or the clever wordplay that the play is known for, you have to understand that the engine driving this whole story is conflict. Specifically, it's two intense rivalries between two sets of brothers that basically blows up the entire world of the play. So, our story begins. It's Act 1, Scene 1, and we're at the estate of the Du Bois family. This is where we meet our first pair of feuding brothers, Orlando and Oliver. And their conflict? It's a classic. It's all about their dad's will and an inheritance that's being denied. So you've got Orlando, the youngest son, and he lays out his complaints right away. His dad left him a decent chunk of money, 1,000 crowns, but his older brother, Oliver, who's in charge, refuses to give him the education of a gentleman. Orlando says he's just kept rustically at home and that Oliver's horses get better treatment than he does. And look, this isn't just neglect. Oliver is being actively malicious, holding back Orlando's future and even scheming against him. And this is where Orlando draws a line in the sand. This isn't just a complaint anymore. It's a declaration. He has reached his absolute breaking point. He's saying, okay, that's it. I'm done. He feels the spirit of his father rising up inside him, and he is ready to fight back against his own brother for the basic respect he deserves. So how does Oliver respond? Well, he takes things to a whole new, terrifying level. He finds out Orlando is planning to enter a public wrestling match against the court's champion, this absolute monster named Charles. And instead of stopping him, Oliver lies to the wrestler, painting Orlando as some terrible villain. He basically gives Charles the green light to, kill him in the ring. This has gone way past sibling rivalry. This is attempted murder. Okay, so as if one feuding family wasn't enough, that very same conversation between Oliver and Charles introduces us to a second, even more powerful brotherly feud. We're still in Act 1, Scene 1, but the focus suddenly zooms out from a private family squabble to a huge political conflict that's shaking the entire kingdom. So the court is already a complete mess. The rightful ruler, Duke Senior, has been banished, kicked out by his own younger brother, Duke Frederick, who's now ruling like a tyrant. The only reason Duke Senior's daughter, Rosalind, is still around is because she's inseparable from the new Duke's daughter, Celia. They're cousins and best friends. Talk about a tense and fragile peace, right? The very next day, we're in Act 1, Scene 2, and it's time for that wrestling match. Against all odds and despite his brother's murder plot, Orlando wins. And he doesn't just win, he demolishes the undefeated champion in a single fall. In an instant, this mistreated kid that nobody knew transforms into a celebrated hero. And right after the match, Rosalind, who's been watching the whole time, is completely captivated. She gives him a chain from her neck and says this incredible line. And bam, it's love at first sight. But her words are also a little ominous, aren't they? You have overthrown more than your enemies. She's basically saying, congrats on winning the match, but you just started a much bigger fight. And boy, was she right. Here comes the twist. When Duke Frederick finds out who this amazing young wrestler is, he learns Orlando is the son of Sir Rowland de Boys, who just so happened to be a dear friend of the banished Duke and Frederick's enemy. The Duke's mood goes from celebration to ice cold in a second. Orlando's big victory just painted a huge target on his back. Which brings us to Duke Frederick's favorite tool of control, banishment. That's his move. It's his go-to solution for anyone who annoys him. It's how he grabbed power from his brother in the first place, and it's how he shows everyone his power is absolute and, frankly, totally arbitrary. And just moments later in Act 1, Scene 3, the Duke's rage finds a new target, his own niece, Rosalind. With absolutely no warning, he banishes her. And when she asks, "What did I do?" he gives this absolutely bone-chilling reply. It's not about what she did, it's about who she is. Just being her father's daughter is a crime in his eyes. And that's enough. She has to go. So with these sudden threats of death and decrees of banishment flying around, the whole play shifts gears. Our characters can't fight back anymore. Now they just have to survive. And that means one thing. It's time to run. But Rosalind isn't leaving alone. In an amazing show of loyalty, Celia, the tyrant's own daughter, says, no way. If you go, I'm going with you. So that same night, they hatch this incredible escape plan. They're going to flee to the Forest of Arden to find Rosalind's dad. For safety, they'll go in disguise. Rosalind will pretend to be a young man named Ganymede, Celia will be a simple shepherdess named Aliena, and for comfort, they bring along the court jester, Touchstone. And in a perfect parallel, just as the cousins are planning their escape, the story cuts back to Orlando. Now, it's the same night, but we're in Act 2, Scene 3, back at his house. And the loyal old servant Adam rushes in with a dire warning. Oliver's first martyr plot failed, so he's moved on to Plan B, which is to burn the house down with Orlando inside it. Tonight. Adam does not mince words here. He tells Orlando this house is but a butchery, a slaughterhouse. He says to fear it, to not even go inside. I mean, it doesn't get much clearer than that. Orlando has no choice but to flee immediately. So think about it. On the exact same night, our hero and our heroine are both forced into exile by the treachery of their own families. So where is everyone going? The banished Duke, the fleeing cousins, the escaping Orlando, they are all headed to the exact same place, the Forest of Arden. This forest becomes the setting for pretty much the rest of the play, a whole new world with its own rules. And this is the great convergence. You've got Rosalind and Celia escaping political tyranny, and you've got Orlando escaping family betrayal. These two parallel stories, born from completely separate conflicts, are now on a collision course in this wild, unpredictable new place. But Arden isn't just a place, it's a whole different philosophy. When we meet Duke Sr. there, in Act 2, Scene 1, he breaks it down for us. The court he left behind was envious and full of peril. The forest, on the other hand, even with its hardships, is a place of honesty, freedom, and a place where you can find good in everything. It's a total change of pace. This famous quote from Duke Sr. just captures that feeling perfectly. In exile, he and his followers have found a different kind of freedom. They've discovered that nature itself can be their teacher. They're finding tongues in trees, books in the running brooks. They've turned their hardship into a kind of peaceful sanctuary, far away from the dangers of the court. So let's just recap how insanely fast this all happens. The entire world of the play gets turned completely upside down in roughly 24 hours. On day 1, Orlando has his fight and wins the match. By that very night, Rosalind is banished and both of them are forced to flee for their lives. A short time later, after their journeys, they all start arriving in the Forest of Arden to begin a new chapter. The pacing is just relentless. Which leaves us right here. You've got 4 main characters, all of them exiles. You've got 2 vicious family feuds that drove them out. And they're all converging on one forest. Rosalind is disguised as a boy, Celia as a shepherdess, and Orlando was a fugitive who has no idea they're even there. So the big question is, what happens when all these heartbroken, hopeful, and disguised people finally collide? Because that is where the real story begins.